Keanu Reeves was considered too gentle to be an action star. Sandra Bullock was virtually unknown and almost lost the role to a comedian. The director had never made a feature film in his life, and the studio was so convinced the movie would fail that they treated it like disposable summer filler. 10 facts buried inside the making of Speed. The 109-foot bus jump that nearly broke a stuntman's spine. The secret writer who overhauled almost every spoken line in the movie. And the $12 million decision that got Keanu Reeves blacklisted from a major Hollywood studio for more than a decade. Stay until the very end, because the bonus reveals the tragic real-life loss that occurred during production, and how it reshaped Keanu Reeves' performance into something no one expected. Fact number 10. Joss Whedon secretly rewrote nearly all the dialogue. The original screenplay for Speed was written by Graham Yost, who developed the high-concept premise of a bomb on a municipal transit bus. But just 1 week before principal photography began, the studio realized that while the plot was brilliant, the characters lacked charm and the dialogue felt flat. They brought in Joss Whedon for an urgent, uncredited rewrite. Whedon overhauled nearly all of the spoken dialogue across the entire screenplay. He wrote the famous shoot the hostage exchange, created the banter between Jack Traven and Annie Porter, and reshaped Jack from a generic, aggressive cop into a polite, empathetic problem solver. Graham Yost later publicly acknowledged that while he designed the structure, Joss Whedon wrote approximately 90% of the dialogue you actually hear in the finished film. Despite this massive contribution, Writers Guild arbitration rules prevented Whedon from receiving an official screenwriting credit. Fact number 9. The bus jump was a real 109-foot flight. The film's most famous stunt involves a 50-foot gap on an unfinished Los Angeles freeway. In the movie, the municipal bus accelerates to 50 miles per hour, hits the gap, and somehow clears the opening in mid-air. While the missing bridge section was erased digitally in post-production, the jump itself was completely real. Stunt driver Geoffrey Brown drove a modified 30,000-pound transit bus up a specialized ramp with a 16-foot mechanical kicker on the unfinished Interstate 105. Traveling at 61 miles per hour, the bus launched 109 feet through the air, rising 20 feet off the ground before crashing back down onto the pavement. The impact obliterated the front suspension and destroyed camera gear. Brown, suspended in a custom shock-absorbing harness rig inside the vehicle to prevent spinal trauma, landed the stunt in a single take. Fact number 8. Keanu Reeves' haircut sparked a complete studio panic. Shortly before filming began, Keanu Reeves decided that an elite tactical officer would not have long, flowing hair. He visited a barber and had his head shaved into an extreme buzz cut. When 20th Century Fox executives saw screen tests of Reeves with a near-bald head, they panicked. Studio leadership called director Jan de Bont in a fury, claiming that Reeves looked like an ex-convict and was unrecognizable as a leading man. The studio threatened to halt production until his hair grew back. De Bont stood his ground, negotiating with nervous executives and promising to frame shots carefully until a few millimeters grew in. Fact number 7. Sandra Bullock passed a real bus driving test. When casting the role of Annie Porter, studio executives originally pushed for a conventional blonde bombshell or an established comedian, even suggesting Ellen DeGeneres. Casting director Reza Bremen Garcia fought aggressively for Sandra Bullock after being impressed by her natural charm. Bullock was determined to make her performance look entirely authentic. Before stepping onto the set, she enrolled in commercial driver training and took the official California commercial driver's license examination. She passed the test on her very first attempt, officially earning a license to drive a full-size municipal bus. While stunt drivers handled the dangerous chases from a specialized roof rig, Bullock steered the actual vehicle through dense traffic in multiple key sequences. Fact number 6. Keanu secretly performed the moving Jaguar jump himself. One of the tensest moments occurs when Jack Traven transfers from a speeding Jaguar convertible onto the side of the moving bus. Director Jan de Bont strictly forbade Keanu Reeves from performing the stunt himself due to massive insurance risks. Reeves refused to accept a stunt double for the close-up action. Without telling the director, Reeves spent his off hours secretly practicing the leap with stunt coordinator Gary Himes. On the day of the shoot, Reeves revealed that he had mastered the mechanics and insisted on doing the physical transfer himself. De Bont was terrified but let it happen. Reeves executed the jump from the moving convertible directly into the open doorway of the speeding bus with zero harness assist. Fact number 5. Harry Temple was originally the secret mastermind. In Graham Yost's original draft of the screenplay, the story contained a massive third-act betrayal. Jack Traven's trusted SWAT partner, Harry Temple, played by Jeff Daniels, was written as the true criminal mastermind behind the extortion scheme. Howard Payne was originally conceived as Harry's hired accomplice. The twist was designed to deliver a shocking betrayal when Jack discovered his closest friend was behind the terror. However, once Dennis Hopper was cast as Howard Payne and began delivering his chilling performance, the filmmakers realized the twist was entirely unnecessary. Hopper's presence was so commanding that adding a second secret villain diluted the tension. The script was revised to keep Harry firmly on the side of the law. The biggest shock in the final cut was never a villain twist. It was the moment a friend got shot. Fact number 4, test audiences literally walked backwards out of screenings. 20th Century Fox had so little confidence in Speed that they originally scheduled its theatrical release for late August. A dumping ground for low-budget action films, the studio viewed the project as an uninspired clone of Die Hard set on a bus. Everything changed during the very first test screening. The momentum was so relentless that producers noticed audience members needing the restroom, literally walking backwards down the aisle, keeping their eyes glued to the screen because they refused to miss a single second. The test screening scored higher than almost any action film in Fox history. Stunned by the reaction, executives immediately moved the premiere up to prime summer release in June. Speed went on to gross over $121 million domestically, against a film the studio had already written off entirely. Fact number 3, the subway crash was saved by test screening storyboards. The climactic sequence features a runaway subway train derailing beneath the city and crashing through the pavement onto Hollywood Boulevard. The scene was added late to the production, and the film actually ran out of money before the complex sequence could be completed. During early test screenings, audiences were shown rough hand-drawn storyboards and animatics where the subway crash was supposed to be. The test scores were so extraordinarily high that Fox leadership immediately released emergency funding to finish filming the sequence. The production constructed high-detail, 1/8 scale practical models weighing 150 pounds built by Sesam's Engineering, and blended them with live location footage filmed directly on Hollywood Boulevard near Grauman's Chinese Theatre. Fact number 2, Keanu turned down $12 million and went to movie jail. After Speed grossed over $350 million worldwide on a $30 million budget, 20th Century Fox immediately rushed a sequel into production. The studio offered Keanu Reeves an astronomical $12 million salary to reprise his role. Reeves read the screenplay for Speed 2 Cruise Control and immediately passed. He told the filmmakers that the concept of an unstoppable speed thriller set on a slow-moving luxury cruise ship made no sense. Furious that their leading man refused to franchise the property, Fox leadership placed Reeves in movie jail. The studio refused to hire him or work with him on any project for more than a decade, only ending the freeze in 2008 when he starred in The Day the Earth Stood Still. Fact number 1, the elevator opening was inspired by a real-life trap. The opening sequence of Speed features a nerve-shredding elevator crisis in a Los Angeles skyscraper. The concept originated from director Jan de Bont's real-life experience, when he became trapped inside an elevator while working as the director of photography on Die Hard. To create the iconic opening title Descent down the elevator shaft, visual effects designers constructed an 85-foot horizontal miniature model equipped with over 400 tiny lights. The heat generated during filming was so intense that parts of the model began to melt on set. For the live-action rescue, full-scale elevator cabs were rigged to mechanical release latches inside the gas company tower in downtown Los Angeles, dropping performers in real freefall to capture authentic terror on camera. Bonus fact, River Phoenix's passing shaped Keanu's iconic performance. In October 1993, just as production on Speed was getting underway, Keanu Reeves received devastating news. His closest friend and creative confidant, River Phoenix, had tragically passed away at the age of 23. The sudden loss profoundly impacted Reeves, who became quiet and emotionally withdrawn on set. Director Jan de Bont recognized the immense weight his lead actor was carrying and restructured the shooting schedule, allowing Reeves to film lighter scenes while he processed the tragedy. Rather than playing Jack Traven as an invincible, swaggering action caricature, Reeves channeled his grief into a grounded, vulnerable, and deeply human performance. That unexpected emotional fragility transformed what could have been a generic summer blockbuster into an enduring action masterpiece. That is 10 facts and a bonus about the nearly 2-hour thrill ride that redefined modern action cinema. Speed proved that practical stunts, relentless pacing, and authentic human emotion will always beat studio formulas. Thank you for watching this episode of Sitcom Secrets. If this gave you a whole new appreciation for the film, hit like and subscribe. Next time we are going behind the scenes of another iconic classic you thought you already knew everything about.